Hi everybody, it's Claire back with another art journal video. Now in this one I'm just showing you a little hack for an easy way to get writing on your page if you're not so confident with your handwriting. It's a really simple one, you'll have seen me use it before, but before we get to that I'll just talk you through this beginning bit. So this is a collage paper from Natalie May Scrapbooking. And sometimes when I'm starting with an image like this, I will take my inspiration for my colours from the collage paper, and that way you'll often find that there are colours that you'll put together that you would never ever have chosen, and that is the case with this page today. So those of you who follow me regularly will know that I often use pinks, purples, blues, rainbow colours. Very rarely do I use orange or kind of pinky reds, salmony colours. No, not really my go-to, but actually I really ended up loving this page. It had a real warmth about it when it was finished, and I took my inspiration from the image on the collage paper for the colours that I chose. So I've started off with cheddar, and then I've grabbed turquoise. So you know already there's alarm bells ringing because you think, geez, they're going to make mud. That was why I dried the orange layer before I went in with the turquoise. So you're absolutely fine using opposite colours on the colour wheel, as long as you make sure that the layer you've just done is dry before you go in with an opposite colour. If you don't, you will end up making mud. And whilst that might not bother you, for me, that's not really something that I want to do. So making sure that all those layers are dry before I go in with my stencil. I'm then using cheddar again. And this is another stencil from Natalie May Scrapbooking with these lovely flowers on. And I'm just pulling that over the top of the colours that I've already added. So I'm not going to introduce new colours just yet. I'm using only the colours that I've popped on the background, just to bring a little bit of interest to those first layers. And here I'm just adding some of that rouge over the centre of the flowers, just to kind of help pop those out a little bit. So to do that, I just simply oh my goodness me, I put the stencil back where it was, and you can see that just highlights those flowers. So trying to find where it was put on before can be quite tricky, particularly if you've put the stencil on at an angle, but with a little bit of thought you will be able to work it out. And then I'm using my blending tool and just dabbing over the centre part, and it just adds that nice effect. So now I'm just going to introduce a little pop of yellow. There is a little pop of that in the collage image. I've grabbed another stencil from Natalie May Scrapbooking that's got these tiny little flowers on. So I'm kind of staying with the same theme because that's in this lovely girl's hair as well. Just bringing some flowers onto the background. And that yellow works really well with the other colours. It adds a little bit of a pop, but it's not too bold. So now it's time to stick the image in. You'll notice I am using ultra thick. That literally is only because it was the one that I found first. You don't have to use ultra thick to stick collage images down. It works really well for transparencies and heavier cardstock, but just ordinary gel medium will work perfectly. Okay, so always brush over the top of the collage image just to help it stick down. It helps to brush out any air bubbles, and it can also help with just blending those edges in a little bit as well. So this is a stencil called Cool Marks, and it's got, as you can see, cool marks on it. So now I'm using a bit of turquoise. I'm starting to introduce a bit of stenciling over the top of the collage image. This is a really good way to blend your images into your page. And then I'm just thinking about the balance on my page here. So I'm thinking, okay, where else do I need to pop some dots? Where does it feel like some are missing? And quite often work in odd numbers, but sometimes I don't. Sometimes it is more about, does my page feel balanced? And I just keep going until I think, yeah, that's it. I've got the balance there. So there's quite enough stenciling now. And the colours work really nicely with the collage image as well, but she still stands out enough. So now I'm going to add a bit of stamping. This stamp that I'm using is from Tim Holtz, I think, and it's got lovely sort of scripty writing on. I'm not using the whole stamp, I'm only using parts of it just to get a little bit of that text onto my page. And also I'm popping it over the edge because then that just helps to blend that onto the page as well, just by bringing elements over onto the image that you've added. So this is the easy hack for adding text to your page. This is also a stencil from Natalie May Scrapbooking. You can do this technique just as easily by painting lines onto your page to do your writing onto. It gives you that guide, it helps you know where your letters are going to go, and it makes it easier for keeping those letters all the same size. So, you know, this is a hack to get started. It's a really good way to start adding your own writing to your art journal pages. I know there are some people who are not so confident with their own writing and maybe don't like it. I would just say the best way to improve is to keep practicing, and remember that your art journal doesn't have to be perfect. It's a place to learn and play and express yourself and try new things. And so, you know, by starting to introduce your writing to your own journal pages, it adds that extra personal touch as well. I'm also using apricot for this because it works really nicely with the tones that I've got on my page already. You could just as easily use white or black, but obviously that would be a little bit more dramatic and it would detract from the focal point, which I kind of don't want to do. So I want to keep these lines definitely not the focal point, as they would maybe more draw your eye if they were black or white. I'm just tidying up with a little baby wipe, then giving it a dry. So that's the stencil. You can find it at nataliemayscrapbooking.com. Yeah, and then I'm adding some dots. Of course, I'm adding dots. This is my trusty dot stamp. I think I may have a couple of these left on my website. It's such a simple little stamp, but boy do I use it so much. And then you can see here I am using these lines to guide me with my writing. And I think altering the heights of letters as well, having some just slightly poking off the top, some hanging off the bottom, is a great way to just bring that kind of slightly chaotic feel, but it's very deliberate. It's something I love doing, is kind of playing with lettering on my pages, and doing this as your guide for your letters is a really easy way to do that. Okay, so a final touch is just to add a few splatters onto my page, and then this journal page is finished. The splatters are also apricot, so they're the same colour as the lines. That's just going to help bring that cohesion to the page, make it all hang together really nicely. So yeah, kind of showing you lots of ways that you can take inspiration from the collage image for your colours on your background, and also an easy hack for getting some lettering onto your journal page. So thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you again soon.